Hello, fellow fools, and welcome to your timeless pick a pile reading with yours truly, Bren Bigelow. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm here to guide you through this magical tarot and astrology experience here. Now, if this is your first time entering, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. How this works is essentially we're going to start with an overall collective reading for everyone, and then from there you can kind of get to know the items that we're going to be working with, the piles, and then you'll be introduced to group number 1, which will be a tarot based reading, and then you'll also be introduced to pile number 2, which is going to be more of an oracle type reading. So if one or the other calls to you, you can pick one group over the other, or you're welcome to stick around and listen to both readings if the energy is resonating with you. If the energy is not resonating with you for any reason, be sure to trust your gut, and maybe you want to go look at another video. I have a lot of other videos up for all the different astrology signs. So please feel free to check those out. There's lots of wisdom and messages waiting for you. So without further ado, I like to start with this collective reading. I also want to talk a little bit about the lunation that we're experiencing right now. So we are in a Gemini full moon as at the time of recording this video. And again, it is timeless. There's no reason why you can't listen to this when it's not a Gemini full moon. If you're called to this video for whatever reason, you probably need the messages in this reading. But a little bit about Gemini. Gemini is known as the twins. It is a mutable air sign, which means that it's very much about going with the flow. It can go this way, but it also can go that way. I like to literally think of Gemini as the twins. Like there's two people within one archetype, So when we're talking about twins, yeah, they're similar in a lot of ways, but also they have their minds of their own, and sometimes they don't agree either. So this is really about a sign that's very curious, learning oriented, information oriented, and maybe even socially oriented as well. All the air signs, I like to think of some sort of social element within those, because when we're communicating, speaking ideas, those are usually a social thing. So that's a little bit about Gemini, but we're not only having this Gemini full moon, we can't ignore that it's also Sagittarius season. So the sun is in Sagittarius, and I did pull a little card about Sagittarius here. Some things that stood out to me about this card that I really liked was that Sagittarians are skilled at bringing life's major issues into full perspective. It is a very generous and jovial energy. Because they're ruled by the planet Jupiter, they are ready and willing to have a good time and can often forget about their responsibilities. So the thing about Sagittarius, I like to think of Sagittarians as like the party animals of the zodiac. And it doesn't mean that every single person with Sagittarius placements is going to be a party animal. It's more about them wanting to go out there and put themselves out there and enjoy life to the fullest and just trust that luck is on their side, ruled by Jupiter. It's like, everything's going to be okay. Sure, I'm going to buy everyone drinks tonight, and maybe my bank account won't like that, but I know I'll figure it out, so I'm not even stressed about it. That can be a quality of Sagittarians, which is fabulous. So in tandem with the Gemini energy, because we can only have a full moon when the moon is in the opposite sign of itself, and the sun is in the opposite sign of the moon. So Gemini and Sagittarius are opposites. They are considered sibling signs. They look at each other on the astrological wheel. So although they are going about things in a different way, they have some commonalities that bring them together. They both are mutable signs, meaning that they both can go this way or that way. But that can cause issues sometimes when two people or two energies are trying to go this way or that way. There's no structure. So that's one way that Sagittarius and Gemini energy can kind of not be at odds necessarily, but sure, be at odds. Why not? We're going to just go with that. So Gemini is more of that like basic understanding social. It's air. So communicating and information seeking. They're more of the students of the zodiac, whereas the Sagittarians are more of the teachers of the zodiac. So Sagittarians are more involved with like the bigger picture energy ruled by, Jupiter, just big picture, all those things. Whereas Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is much more focused on the details, the smaller things, the day to day. So when these two energies come together, we need them both. We need the big picture and we also need the details at different times. So finding balance between these two energies is going to be really useful at this time for us all. And also using this information, if you're not an astrologer yourself, I definitely recommend you dive into at least the basics of astrology, because if you look at your personal birth chart and look where Gemini and Sagittarius are in your chart, you're going to get a lot more information on how this lunation is going to directly impact you. So even if you don't have Gemini placements, if you don't have Sagittarius placements, it doesn't matter. You're going to have Gemini and Sagittarius somewhere in your natal birth chart. And your natal birth chart is the imprint of energies at the first time you took your first breath. So those energies are what's imprinted on you for your lifetime. And understanding those energies is going to help you make your life a lot easier. The more you understand yourself, the more that you understand the world around you and why you do the things that you do. And you can live more consciously the more that you know about yourself. One of my favorite sayings is, knowing yourself is an art. And I am very strongly in the belief system that knowing thyself is one of the most important things about being alive, because otherwise you're just moving through life through someone else's lens or whatever. So get to know yourself. I feel like that's probably going to be a really big theme with this lunation. The mantra, I always like to use the Moonology deck by Yasmin Boland to get overall energies of each lunation, because I think she just does a great job with that. And the mantra for this Gemini full moon is, the answers you need are coming. The answers you need are coming. And that should be bringing us a little bit of peace, because this year has been pretty full of chaos and like change, not only for us on the individual level, but globally. There's just a lot of change. And I've said this so many times, but I feel like Spirit wants me to say it again, because there might be new people here, but change is really disruptive to the nervous system. Even if it's really good change. Oh my gosh, I'm making so much more money at my job now. But that can be stressful, because it's like, okay, well, now I need to figure out how to allocate these resources appropriately to set me up for more success, rather than, spending more than I actually have, or not staying within budget. It can be really easy to go too far. So when we are experiencing full moons, this is when the dark is illuminated. The night sky is usually dark without the moon's illuminescence. Is that a word? But it's time where the shadows, or like the things that were hidden, are now maybe coming to light. So this is a great opportunity, especially still with us exiting Scorpio season. There's still a little bit of Scorpio energy in the air, although we are moving into this fiery Sagittarian energy, which I am super excited for, just because it's a little lighter and a little more free-flowing. I love Scorpio. It's a deep emotional sign. And when we're stuck in the deep emotional energy for so long, it can be burdensome, in my opinion. It can just feel heavy and like not pleasant. So big props to my Scorpio friends out there. You guys deal with some really deep stuff. I'm Pisces too, so I get it, but it's a little different. So anywho, without further ado, I do want to start this general reading for us. The decks that we're working with today, this is the Angel Tarot deck gifted to me by my friend Nico. And we also have this, oh my gosh, I really need to remember these decks. It's an oracle deck about successful people. Now, what I will say about this deck is I have never worked with this deck before. I got it earlier this year when I was on my NORWAC conference. It was on sale, so I was like, sure, I'm gonna crack into it. But I will say there's some controversial figures in this deck that might be triggering to certain people, and I just ask that you keep an open mind while we work with this deck, because there's a reason why I was called to use this deck today, and you're going to receive the messages that you need. and perhaps not necessarily what you want. So if you're looking for maybe some harsher truths, I'm feeling that for this oracle deck, which I will link in the show notes. Please don't get mad at me. I'm sorry. I should have known the name of this deck. But anywho, we're going to proceed. We're going to draw, just for the collective reading, one card from each deck to see what the overall energy of the collective is at this time. And I guess we're going to get two tarot cards and one oracle card. You know, I'm feeling so drawn to the tarot, so we're going to start there. We have the Six of Swords and the Six of Cups. I love sixes. Why do I love sixes? I love sixes because they symbolize breaking a cycle of some kind. If we think about numerology, what comes before 6 is 5. So when we're in that 5 energy, that's very much about change and shifting, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. So when we're talking about shifting and changing, it's really easy for us to just go back to old patterns and old habits. So that's when we go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But 5 is that middle breaking point. It's kind of like that fork in the road a lot of the time, where it's like, okay, the universe is testing you. Are you going to take action in the same ways that you've been doing before? If so, you're going to go back to square one, because if you're not going to learn your lesson, you obviously need to learn it again. So spirit, or the universe, however you think of it, God, is going to give you another trial that will try to help you pass this test again, of like, okay, well, you didn't really pass the test, you know? If you go from a 5 back to a 1. And, you know, learning's not linear. So even in numerology, like, we don't always go from a 1 to a 4, or a 1 to a 2 to a 3 to a 4. You know, sometimes we do go from 1 to 4 to 2 to 10. You know, it's not always linear, but for the sake of this message, it is linear, and we are breaking away from the cycle. Because if we can make it to a 6, that's breaking that 5 cycle of like that challenge, and now we can move forward. Now we've passed the test and we can move forward. I also like that they're both 6s. Any double number to me is an angel number, which great, it's an angel deck, so the angels are most definitely with us, and with this group especially. So if you're especially called to angels, this group would probably be the choice for you. What was I going to say? 6 and 6, like a 66, I believe, is all about positivity, or at least optimism. So I would say that for the overall general reading for all of us, what we can take away from this moment is that we should be really proud of ourselves for how far we've come. We should be really grateful for the people that brought us there, because also sometimes the people who teach us the most important lessons are people we don't like. Sometimes our best teachers in life are the worst people, the worst. Because you learn, like, I really don't want to be like that person, or whatever, XYZ reasons why you don't like this person. But this is about, you know, especially I'm seeing with that 6 of Cups, is that, you know, through a very spiritual lens, even the people you dislike the most, they have something to offer you. And they have offered something to you that's invaluable. And it's really up to you not to be a victim of whatever they're doing to you necessarily. Like, if it's a shitty boss or something, not being so upset about that. It's about really instead getting curious and being like, wow, what is this person trying to tell me about my life and how I'm living my life? Because if you're staying at a job, for example, where your boss does not treat you well, that says a lot about you. And I know there's like rough times and stuff, and it is a whole burden to find a new job and all these things. And that is really valid. And I want to honor that within you, because that's very true. Yet we teach people how to treat us, and if we're okay with being treated poorly by our boss, or we don't say anything, or we don't do anything about it, there's nothing's going to change within that. So this is about you really knowing your worth and going for what you truly feel aligned with, rather than what you feel obligated to do. I'm feeling for you also a resting period could be really helpful for you, and I feel already like a little bit of resistance to that. So if you're feeling resistance, be like, well, Bren, I already have all this stuff going on. I need to make ends meet. It's the holiday seasons, at least at the time of recording. Like, I need to make money so I have gifts to buy other people, blah, 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 blah. And Spirit just wants to reassure you that, like, you're valid. Like, those things are very valid. What they want to warn against, though, you have to take a break at some point. Like, whether or not you feel like you have time for it or not, you have to sleep at some point. And Spirit's warning you that if you don't slow down and you don't take a break of some kind, even if it's 10 minutes, just like taking a walk or something, the universe will do it for you. And this is not a very pleasant message coming through, but it is a collective message. So, I mean, I have to receive this message too. But the message really is like, yeah, if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take time to recuperate in healthy ways, not just, escaping or dissociating into TikTok or whatever you're doing, there will be consequences, and it's not going to be pleasant. If you can consciously slow down, or at least, do what's good for yourself, maybe do a stretching session 5 minutes in the morning, like before you start your day. Like, it really doesn't have to be this huge thing, but if you don't, you might start getting health issues. You might get sick. You might have these external factors that then force you into this recovery period that is a lot more inconvenient than if you just really commit to doing it yourself. Okay. 6 of Cups. This one says, motivation lifts up those who are fallen and humiliated. I like that this angel too, she has a couple horns. And whenever I see someone with a musical instrument, especially a horn of some kind, like Archangel Gabriel, for example, I think of a wake-up call. And 6 of Cups to me is like that beautiful nostalgic card. It's really about sharing. It's a really beautiful card, but the what's it called? The shadow of this card is to live too much in the past as well. We are moving in a brand new era, y'all. Like, it's really easy for us to want to cling to the past just because it's comfortable. It might not even be what we want. We might cling to that job or that relationship just because it's comfortable, even though we're not fully satisfied with that. And this message is telling us that you can't go back. You've already made too much progress. There's no going back. So you can try to cling on as much as you want to the past, but ultimately change is coming whether you like it or not. I think the main message is to ground your mind and to trust that you're on your way to something better, but you can't keep wanting to like look back at your past and be like clinging to that or wanting that when it's over. It's over. There's nothing, you can't bring it back. It's over. That time is over. So stop clinging to that relationship. Stop clinging to that job. Stop clinging to these things. Even a hobby, even if you've been like really into, like for me, for example, I'm like really into pole dancing for the last 5 years, right? I made it my career. I made it a huge part of my identity. But recently I've been like, nah, dude, like it's just not part of my identity anymore. I like to do it still, but I don't want to define myself so much by this thing when it's just not aligned with me like it was in the past. Or maybe it's just time for me to realign it to make it work for me. So instead of me teaching and, prioritizing other people in this practice, I'm really looking inwards and instead looking at how I can improve my practice just for me and express myself artistically and just go to a class to socialize and not have any other ulterior motives like networking or, trying to sell a class or something. It's like, that's not what it needs to be about all the time, especially an art form thing. So that's just a personal example of what you might be experiencing. And again, this is tarot is a symbolic language. So I really encourage you to tap into your own intuition during this. Like, I'm happy to share messages with you, and you're definitely, there's value to get from these readings. But at the end of the day, they're only as valuable as what you put into them and what you get out of them. So if something's resonating with you, you got to claim that and you got to own that and you got to live that. If something's not resonating with you, it's up to you to be like, cool, this is a collective message. This wasn't meant for me. It's okay. There's still value to get from other things within this reading, So those are the 2 messages that I'm getting for these 6s. I do want to read the Six of Swords too, just because it does have words on it, and I read the other one. So it says, perception of unity protects against accidents, heals the sick. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I feel like that just reiterates like, hey, let's take care of ourselves. Take that extra vitamin C, those vitamins, whatever you need to do, get that sleep. If you are not getting sleep, you need to fix that immediately. Sleep is so important for so many things. It's our recovery. It's how our body can function at its highest. So if you're not getting enough sleep, it's not a flex. This is it. Honestly, the biggest message that's coming through is that there are consequences to actions, and we might be seeing for the next week consequences coming. And consequences are not always bad. You know, sometimes consequences are, oh, I've been mowing my neighbor's lawn for all summer, and now it was just an act of kindness. And now my neighbor just won the lottery and gave me $10,000 because they were so grateful that I helped them out when they needed it. You know, those are consequences that are nice to have. But again, like if you haven't been taking care of your body, if you've been drinking a lot, whatever, you're going to feel that in your body, and your body may struggle to recover. And some consequences are permanent. So I really want you to take that into consideration, especially when it comes to taking care of your body. What foods are you eating? Are you exercising? Are you stretching? Are you sitting at a chair all day without like making up for that somehow? Like we've got to take care of our bodies, because that in turn will help us make better decisions with our minds, and also just have a more fulfilling and healthy life. There's a saying where it's like, a healthy person has 99 problems, but an unhealthy person only has one problem, which is their health, you know? So really take care of yourself. If you're experiencing any health issues right now, just make sure that you're going to an actual professional that you trust to get that taken care of. Feel free to get second opinions as well, because people make mistakes. It's a stressful time for everyone, and I don't really see anyone operating at their highest right now. Maybe they are. There's some people, you know, even in the most suffering times, there are people who thrive. So I guess it's not a one-all catch-all, but just also give grace to other people who might be also not operating at their best, just because things are stressful and there's a lot of change for everyone globally. And you never know what someone else is going through. So hold your own, do your best to take care of you, because that will give you more resilience to deal with other things. Okay. And we've got the Bill Gates card reversed. Bill Gates reversed. Okay. Again, this can be a controversial person for people, but he is a powerful person, and I did want to use this deck because well, first of all, I wanted to use it, period. I need to get to know this deck. But also, I like power. I think everyone likes power to a certain extent. Like maybe I don't want to be like face first in everyone's media streams. That kind of power is like really overwhelming, but power comes in a lot of different forms. Power comes in a dynamic in relationship. It comes literally in literal electricity. That is power. And I'm burping a little bit. I wonder if that means something. But what it says on this card is we could all use a little help processing. Compatibility has no competition, and charity extra large. So I feel like the most important thing that stood out to me with that was that we could all use a little help processing. Now we are, at least at the time of this recording, again, you can claim these energies even if this is not a Gemini full moon anymore. But it does seem like during this time, whenever you're watching, it could be a really good time to talk things out with people and process externally. If you're not an external processor, if you don't want to talk to a therapist, or if you don't want to talk to a friend or whatever, it might be good to journal. Like there needs to be some sort of outlet for all that you've been through, because you have a lot of mental energy. You've got this Six of Swords, you know, and Six of Swords is not a stable. Well, it could be stable. It is stable energy, but it's more of like a temporary stability. It's like anything could happen though to shake it up. It's not like the kind of stability that's a like foundational structure, like a house, for example. That's like more of like a grounded stability, whereas like the boat that the Six of Swords kind of talks about, it's like it's stable enough to get you from point A to point B, but you're not going to want to build a home there. Like this is temporary. This is just temporary security. So just remember that, like, we could all use a little help processing. Our security is temporary. Like, you know, a friend that you've had forever, you never know, they could just dip out tomorrow and be like, I'm getting married, and then you never hear from them again. You know, that stuff happens all the time, and it's unfortunate, but you know, this is really about just taking the security where you have it when you have it, because at the end of the day, nothing is actually secure. There was a quote that I had copied. I actually saw it on Reddit. It was someone's grandma who had told them this. And it was like, you're just always borrowing people. Like, no one, you can never actually own someone. Even if you marry someone, they could cheat, they could die, you know? So nothing's ever permanent. And I feel like that's something that we all are getting really familiar with this year and uncomfortable with, because we like to think like, oh, I have my 401k, or, oh, I have my, you know, my bills are paid, like, but you never know when a huge medical expense might come up, or just something happens where you're not as secure as you thought you were. So just remember that true security comes from within. True security comes from who you know as well. Even though people are temporary, a lot of them, some of them aren't. Some of them will be there for you for a long time. So lean on them when they're there. Lean on the resources that you have when they're there, because yeah, they might not always be there. So you might as well use them, and you might as well appreciate them. And resources, I've told my clients this a lot recently, which is resources really don't come in just the form of money. Resources come in the form of a friend with a skill set. Say you have a friend who knows how to play piano. Well, that friend, maybe in exchange for a wedding gift, they play piano at your wedding. You know, that's a resource that you don't have to pay for. But you can enjoy, and so can more people, you know? So think outside the box. Like, this imagery is kind of interesting too, because you see Bill Gates in an old-fashioned computer, and it seems very much in the box. He's in the box. And I think that's what we can get blinded by sometimes, like when we have too much wealth, or, you know, we just lose sight of what's truly valuable with distractions. And I'm not saying that you're someone with like a ton of wealth who's getting distracted by that. I'm saying that's the archetype that Bill Gates, I feel like, is sharing with us right now, where it's like sometimes you get so caught up, you get so lost in the sauce that you forget what's of true value, which is like your community and building something to last many generations forward rather than just serve yourself. Because another thing I do like about this card is that it says charity extra large. And Bill Gates has donated a lot of money. Great. Give him props, whatever. But a billionaire is a billionaire at the end of the day. And it is not really an ethical place to be. You can share a lot, but if you have even more to share and you're not sharing it, I don't know. That's something to consider. So I would say that we all have a little bit of this Bill Gates energy in us. And this is just how I'm reading Bill Gates. He's a complicated person. There's a lot more to him than what I'm talking about, for sure. But this is just like the first things that Spirit wants me to speak about on him. But this is a reminder to us to also be generous. Like, we might not have billions of dollars like Bill Gates, but we always have something to offer. Even if we have no clothes on our back, we have some sort of skill set. We have a joke to share. We have something to share with others that we can always be generous with. And definitely keep your peace. Like, don't give more than what you can give at any time. Like, if you really don't have a shirt off your back, like, don't give away your pants too, you know? But definitely be generous, because this is a time, especially Sagittarius season, ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter, like, fortune favors the generous. They do. And life's not always fair, and this doesn't always happen, but you also have to remember that not all blessings, or not all things that we receive are going to be from the same people. It's not always going to be a tit for tat thing. So you might help a homeless person on the street, give them $10, whatever, but you don't need to expect $10 back from them at any point. You know, you can expect that the universe will keep that tally and be like, cool, well, you did this thing for someone sometime. Maybe you're going to get a $10 rebate somewhere else, some random thing. Or I also like to think that the universe actually pays an interest as well. So if someone has wronged you or something, or say a friend borrowed $80 from you or something and they never paid you back, and they never will because then they just ghosted you or whatever, you can rest assured that like you're going to get your money back. Maybe not from that person, but that person will pay their own consequences. You don't need to worry about them. They're going to have to live with their consequences. So don't worry about them. But you can rest assured that, okay, well, I'm out $80 now. That sucks. But I know that spirit will be paying me back somehow with interest. And I say that also as like a placebo effect. Even if you feel like, okay, Bren, whatever, how do I even believe that? Whatever. It's like, well, the power is in your mind. And if you believe it, it's powerful. So that's what I'll leave you with for the overall reading. It seems like this overall reading was a little more in depth than usual, which is interesting. It seems like this might be a really pivotal point. Also, I forgot to even mention why this is such a big full moon. This full moon is squaring the nodes, the north node and the south node. The north node right now is in Pisces, and the south node is in its opposite sign, Virgo. They work in pairs like that. So they both are mutable signs. So that means they're squaring also the other mutable signs, which is Gemini and Sagittarius, the two main characters for this lunation. Now, whenever we're talking about the nodes, those are fated karmic calculations of the nodes of the moon. So when we're talking about karma and things like that, this could be like, because this full moon has such a direct influence on the nodes, or the nodes, I should say, have a direct influence on the planetary bodies. This just means that there might be some karmic realignment happening at this time. It's kind of that halfway point between the eclipses. So, and eclipses are those fated changes. It's like, okay, here's the consequences, and then also here's the result. Here's the clarity. Here's the karmic correction. Because if we go off our path, usually it's those eclipses that bring us back on path, whether we like it or not. So because this full moon is squaring the nodes, it's really going to be challenging us to make the changes that we need. So when the time the eclipses do come around, we're prepared and we're ready. This is kind of that halfway checkpoint of being like, am I on the path that I need to be learning the lessons and going in the direction that feels most aligned with me? Additionally, I had one more thing I wanted to say about the nodes. But yeah, with the north node in Pisces, the south node in Virgo, north node is about like where we're hungry and where we're growing. South node is the opposite. It's kind of what we need to shed and release, and what we're moving away from. But the thing is, like, it's a polarity, so you can't have one without the other. So this is just an invitation for us to really embrace a lot of those positive Pisces traits, which is about dreaming big and going with the flow and surrendering to the universe and just trusting that you're on your journey and that you're going to be taken where you need to go without having to force things. A big metaphor that's been coming up lately for everyone that I've been doing readings for is to not swim against the current. You right now are in a lazy river. Please get in your floaty and just float. Take what you need when you need it, whatever, if you pass by it, but you're here to surrender. You've already made your decisions for the most part, and now you need to just observe and take in information and go from there. This is not the time to be doing laps against the current in the lazy river. Like, people are going to hate that. Like, it's just causing issues not only for you, but it's irritating to other people. And you're also not going to go where you need to go if you do that. Or at least if you do, you will end up where you need to go eventually, but you're going to be exhausted because you've been swimming against the current. So you might as well just surrender. If something right now is leaving your life, you better just let it. You better, because what's meant for you will not pass you by. And rejection is divine protection. If someone breaks up with you, or if you lose a job, or your apartment is raising the rent and is kicking you out, you need to just accept that and move on, because you're in a new era and it's time for you to be proactive and just take the punches, roll with the punches, because you're going to end up somewhere way better if you do that rather than try to fight against it. You might lose opportunities if you don't just go with the flow and take what's given to you when it's given to you. And this is not to say to settle, because you don't want to settle either. If there's really an opportunity that you're like, hell no, that's not for me, trust that. That's not what we're talking about here when it's like go with the flow. It's just kind of like if someone breaks up with you, but then a week later is like, please take me back, blah, blah, blah. Really consider if that's right, because I don't know. It seems like, again, we're here breaking cycles, and it'd be really easy for us after breaking a cycle to try to go back, because it's like, oh, yay, I broke the cycle. Now we're all good. But that's not the end of the story. That's definitely not the end of the story, because once you break this cycle, whatever it is, whether it's emotional or mentally, those are the two priorities here. Whether you do it or not, yeah, it takes commitment to continuously breaking a cycle, because you can break a cycle once, like, oh, yay, I didn't binge eat before bed tonight. Yay. But then the next day you might be like, oh, I didn't binge eat last night, so I should reward myself by binge eating tonight. That's the addict's brain. That's, so this is just saying you've got to commit to whatever changes you've made, because there's no going back. And even if you tried to go back, it's just not going to be the same anyway. So it's better to just move forward. Okay. Live in the present, move forward. Those are the collective messages here. All right. Now, without further ado, we are now going to enter the pickle pile portion of this reading. So we are going to start. Pile number 1 is going to be our angel tarot deck. This is, again, traditional tarot. If you liked this deck or resonate with it, or resonate with angels, feeling extra guidance that you want to receive from angels, this will be the deck or pile for you, pile number 1. And then I also have, to accompany it, this golden obsidian. This is from South America, brought back by my beloved Aunt Roseanne. And so it does have like a little bit of a familial element. Also, anytime that I work with obsidian, it's really powerful for absorbing energy. So if you're feeling like you need some release, absorbing of energy, this could be a great pile deck for you. Pile number 1, the tarot deck. And then we also have this, again, I'm sorry I don't have the name of it, but it's like a powerful people deck, or a wealthy people deck, something like that. I'll make sure that the correct deck is labeled in the show notes. But this is an oracle deck about power, and it's accompanied by this citrine butterfly. It's so beautiful. This I have a lot of favorite crystals, okay? But this one's extra special to me because it was given to me by Carrie, my friend and colleague. I guess you can call her my colleague. She works at the store, or she owns the store that I do readings at Confia Collective. And she's an immensely powerful, inspiring person, very Leo energy. And to receive this gift from her was like really profound for me. Citrine is symbolic of prosperity, and butterflies are symbolic of change, and not only change just to change, but change to flourish. So if you're feeling any maybe like work or money energy or personal empowerment, I would say this pile 2 would be the best bet. That's intuitively what I'm feeling. Who knows what will actually come up, but yeah, maybe more familial or personal life, that would be group number 1 with the tarot. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get started with pile number 1. And you are pile number 1 if you chose the Angel Tarot deck and this golden obsidian crystal. Now, if you have a specific question in mind, you're more than welcome to just kind of keep that in the forefront for this reading. But otherwise, this will just be, oh my goodness, some general messages. And I don't know, I don't think the camera picked up on that, but a bunch of cards flew out and landed in the ash of the incense that I was burning before. And it's also protection salt. So it does seem like this group is in a special need of some extra protection. So I would advise, like, maybe you get your own crystal. A black one is always the best for absorbing any negative energies. So if you're feeling like a little bit of extra protection, I love to work with Obsidian. I also like to work with black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is also wonderful for absorbing any negative energies. So if you're going through just like a darker time, whatever, that you need a little extra boost, that's going to help. Cleansing energies is going to be really helpful for you too, like taking showers and really just remembering, like, okay, as I take the shower or as I wash my hands, negativity is rinsing off of me, and I can trust that I'm protected by spirit. I'm really getting called to express to you all the importance of ritualizing your anything. Like, ritualize your protection, especially. So like every time you wash your hands or anytime you engage with drinking water, whatever, just be like, okay, this is nourishing me, this is protecting me, this is cleansing me. And it doesn't have to be much. It's just like praying before a meal. It's like you don't have to believe in God or whatever to show appreciation for what you have, especially the nourishment that's going in your body, because you are what you eat. You literally are what you eat. You become the proteins that get broken down that then become your body and things like that. So this is not only physical foods that you are what you eat, but also what media you ingest, you are that as well. So just be really careful with what information you are taking in and taking as truth, because it does seem like maybe there's certain things like the media, they always like any news broadcaster of any kind, they have a different motive. They have some sort of motive, whether it's money or power, something along those lines. And you really need to do your due diligence to protect yourself by not getting lost in, don't get lost in information that might not even be true. There's a lot of misinformation on all sides of media. So just take care of yourself by, especially if you're like scrolling or something and you come across something really disturbing or something. My advice to you is get curious rather than judgmental, especially over other people. Like, say, you listen to someone who has like a view, like a political view that's so different from yours. Instead of getting really angry about it or triggered or whatever, get curious. Be like, I wonder what that person has experienced in their life to come to that belief system. I feel like there's been a lot of divisiveness, especially where I live in the United States this last year. And it can be really hard to find community when you feel like everyone's an enemy rather than a community member. So this is really about like, try not to get too extreme on any side. There's always nuance. There's always information that we don't know. And to stand firm in your beliefs for sure, but just don't get so taken away. And especially during family season, like, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas. Like sometimes we're united with families that don't align with our belief systems or values or things like that. This is really about like choosing your battles and getting curious rather than judgmental. Instead of like, someone sharing an opinion that you really don't agree with and then you storming out or something or yelling at them or something, why don't you just start asking questions? Just try to be more investigative. Like, why do you think it's a problem that XYZ is happening in the White House or whatever? Or, oh, that's interesting that you have that perspective. Like, what backs up that claim? Instead of being like, oh, well, that's so stupid, blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is about using tact. It's time for you to step into your maturity a little bit and really take this leadership that you have. All of us have leadership potential every day. We don't need to be leaders of a country in order to be leaders. We are leaders by how we interact with others. If there's a bully, they're bullying someone. Us not doing anything about it is us showing our leadership or lack thereof. If we do then speak up, that could change someone's life. That could change 3 people's lives. That could change everything for someone. So we haven't even gotten to flipping over the cards yet. These are just intuitive messages. But Spirit is really just saying, like, this is your time to really start stepping up into your leadership and doing, it's not easy always to be the bigger person, but you were blessed with knowing better. And so don't stoop to other people's levels just because that's where they're at. You can meet them where they're at without stooping to their level, And again, if something's not worth it, don't say something. If it's taking too much emotional toll on you, or if you're feeling it was super emotionally regulated, do what you got to do to do it, to do what you need to do for you as well. There's no right or wrong with that. All right, we've got 2 cards here. My favorite angel showed up. My favorite angel is Archangel Michael with the Chariot upright. This has also been a popular card recently, so we'll get into that. It says perseverance, success in conflict, and overcoming adversity. The Chariot is associated with the zodiac sign Cancer. So if you're a Cancer, this might be confirmation for you. Or if you are thinking about someone who has Cancer placements, that could be important. Or if you look at where Cancer is in your chart, whatever house that it rules, those themes could be what's important at this time. Okay. So we also have the High Priestess reversed. And I don't actually know all the angels in this deck. I just know the 4 main ones, which is Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, and the other one. Raphael. Right? Okay. So Michael's my personal favorite because I've worked with Michael just the most. Michael came to me a few years ago through the artist George Michael, actually. I call George Michael Archangel George Michael because that's how I feel like I communicate directly to Archangel Michael, because George Michael has left a legacy of absolutely empowering otherworldly music. And I know a lot of it's super popular and so like mainstream at this point, but George Michael has some absolute bangers, so much depth and meaning and emotion in his music. And it got me through some really hard times. So if you're experiencing some hard times right now, or even just like transition, the Chariot is like, you're on your way somewhere. You're moving. And that I feel like goes directly with that 6 of Swords energy that came up in the collective reading at the beginning. But it seems like maybe music could be important for you at this time. Like if you need some guidance or wisdom, maybe you shuffle your playlist and just the first song that comes up is a message that you need to receive. Whatever lyrics really speak to you in that. And sometimes I do this all the time, and sometimes it's like the most ridiculous song and I'm like, what the heckity heck am I supposed to get out of this? Sometimes when that happens, I'm just like, okay, Spirit's saying that I need to lighten up, or whatever the song is. It's like, shake your booty. Okay, well, I guess I need to go shake my booty. Sometimes the messages from Spirit are really not that serious. They're just like, yo, you're working too much. Why don't you go have fun? Perseverance, success in conflict, overcoming adversity. Yeah, and Archangel Michael is he's the one who wields the sword, and swords are protective, obviously, but swords can also symbolize your voice, and it symbolizes your thoughts and your communication. So for this card, for you, the message I'm getting is now might be a really good time to protect yourself. Whatever that means to you. Maybe you get a crystal. Maybe you get some incense and just say, okay, I'm cleansed and I'm protected now. It doesn't have to be much, but this is about you really focusing on making sure that you believe and trust that you're protected, especially during turbulent times or like fearful times, like, oh, I'm going to go see family members that I'm a little scared of because they are emotionally reactive or whatever. Just know that Michael's always with you, and you don't always have to protect yourself on your own. Without even getting tourmaline or any kind of product to help you cleanse or protect yourself, all you have to do is use your imagination, and you can call upon Archangel Michael at any time and just say, like, Archangel Michael, will you please help protect me and sever any ties of energy that are not serving me at this time? Because sometimes our energy is being suctioned off suctioned off into other things, like other people's emotional problems or work or XYZ. And it's okay to have emotional investments in these things. It's just when it's draining you or you're doing too much, that's when it's a problem. So this visualization that I'd like you to do is closing your eyes and just imagining yourself surrounded by this white pure light. You could even be in a white pure tube that connects you to the earth, to the infinite sky. And you call upon Archangel Michael and just say what I said earlier, like, Archangel Michael, please come upon me and protect me. And then imagine him coming in, and you might actually feel his presence, but if you don't, you can just imagine this happening. Like, your imagination's powerful. So imagine him flying around in his angelic, divine way with his sacred sword, just cutting off any ties or anything that's burdening you. He's going to cut and sever any of those ties. And you do this as many times as you need. Repeat it as many times as you need, because that's going to help build your inner fortitude and release yourself from some of these burdens that are holding you down. It's like you're in this chariot, but you're going only 5 miles an hour when you could be going, 35, because you just have all this baggage and your horses can't take it. They can only move so fast. This is about releasing some baggage. And that's kind of the full moon vibe anyway. Like, full moons are about climaxes and release. So what needs to climax? What's climaxing at this point, and what are you releasing as well for the next 2 weeks? All right, talking about the High Priestess reversed. I could get into the Chariot and Michael all the time. Also, maybe you listen. Okay, this is your additional task for this Chariot card. If you're ever wanting some wisdom or just inspiration, go to George Michael on whatever streaming service that you listen to and just shuffle. See what random song comes up. And sometimes it might be Careless Whisper. And you know what? It's a great song, and you should listen to it even if it's overplayed a lot, because there's so much beauty in it. Like, some of those lyrics, like, I've heard that song so many times in my lifetime, but for some reason 2 or 3 years ago, when I heard Careless Whisper, it was like hearing it for the first time. I was so blown away by like how good the song is. And I know it's a meme, but literally this is one of the best songs ever written. And like some of the lyrics in it, it's like, guilty feet have got no rhythm. Like, what? That's insane. And a teenager wrote that. Like, guilty feet have got no rhythm. Like, there's just beauty. Like, just maybe this is also a sign, like, sometimes the things that we experience over and over again that are just like in our day-to-day lives, we don't even pay attention to it anymore. Maybe trying to see it through fresh eyes and seeing it through a child's eyes, even. Like, it's snowing outside, for example, and it's like, I don't really care. I've lived in snowy areas my entire life, so snow to me is not really the biggest deal. But maybe it's a good time for me to go outside and just look at the snow like I was like a 2-year-old kid it's their first time experiencing snow, being like, what is this? What is this frozen water like coming from the sky and making everything so pure and white? Like, look how beautiful it is. Because a lot of the times we can think about snow and being like, I don't want to drive in that. Like, ugh, it's another thing to do. Oh, I have to shovel the snow, whatever. But think of the beauty. It's time to think of the beauty more than the ugly. Sure. And even the ugly has something to offer too, but you have a lot more beauty than you're giving yourself credit for that surrounds you every day, all the time. Okay. High Priestess reversed. If you've had readings with me before, you know that reversals are not scary with the Brens over here. I think of reversals as retrograde energy. So if you're familiar with astrology, that might resonate with you. It's just more of an inward energy, a reflective energy. And yeah, inward is the biggest one. When it's upright, it's more external. So as I see this High Priestess card, this is about divine intuition and trusting your own intuition over other people's intuition. I like to compare the High Priestess sometimes to the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a figure that literally it's like a religious figure that talks to God and then preaches God's word to others, right? High Priestess, I feel like, is a little different. It's similar in the sense of like, it is a very godly, very intuitive energy, but instead of like doing it in the way of tradition and be like, this is how we've always done it. This is how we do it. Let's do it that way. That's God's will, whatever. She's more intuitive and she's more able to be flexible within God's word, because I've been learning this lesson a lot recently, where sometimes being the bad guy is being the good guy. And I think this is the calling, that sometimes being the bigger person or doing the right thing, it doesn't feel good because you're disappointing someone or it's not actually what you want, but you know that it's the right thing to do. And also know that things are not so black and white. You know, this card comes up too when there's a lot more nuance than what we are giving credit for sometimes. So just remember that your intuition is really powerful, especially right now. And now's a good time to hone in on it. Maybe you get your own deck of cards and like do a card draw and just intuitively feel what that card's trying to tell you. You can get advice from loved ones, people who really care about you. But at the end of the day, you have to make your decisions for you. And you have to live with the bed that you made for yourself. So you can ask someone, like I did this recently where I was asking my bestie, Mia, I was like, should I break up with this person? Like, should I do it? Is it in my best good to like break up with this person? And she responded so well. She was like, I can't tell you that. Like, I can tell you that because you're bringing it up, that you obviously feel a certain way about it. But at the end of the day, she can't break up with that person for me. And I can't put that burden on her at all. I have to, if I'm going to make that decision, I've got to do it. I've got to commit to it and trust that even though I didn't want to do it, it was what was for the best. So those are the tarot readings messages for this group, but don't worry, we have one extra special message coming through. This is the good luck chicken. It is full of good luck charms, and I like to leave you with a special good luck message to carry you forward, because sometimes like the messages can be darker, and so it's not as pleasant to receive some of these messages, but they always should be empowering of some kind. Sometimes the reality is the empowerment we need in that time, you know? So the good luck charm that has been selected for you is the sheep. And it's interesting because I didn't know what it was at first, but even as I was feeling it, I was like, ugh, I want to draw another one. So if you kind of felt like, oh my gosh, I did not want to get a sheep, that's like lame. Well, it's your good luck, so don't reject your good luck, you know. Sheep have a lot of beautiful messages to share. They're super resourceful. They are, you know, especially to humans, they're very valuable to us because we can use their wool in order to warm ourselves, in order to make products, in order to make money, sure. It has value to us. So this is about you. I think there's a few different messages. I feel like the first one, and these are good luck messages. So these mindsets are what's going to bring you good luck. The first one is sometimes ignorance is bliss. Okay. I'm not saying to totally put your head into the sand and ignore the things that are going on in the world. But this is kind of saying like, again, like when we're talking about like the media and things like that, like nothing we see, we ever can really truly confirm is 100% true. There's AI videos now that show things that look super real. They're not real. Okay. So this is about really sometimes letting certain things ride and only focus on one thing at a time. Like you can't be focused on saving the environment and also the rescue shelters in your neighborhood and also trying to stop wars, XYZ. You know, you can't do it all. You just can't. So pick your battles, do what feels the best for you. Pick one thing maybe that you can really dive into, but maybe you be a little ignorant to the rest. And ignorance, again, has like a negative connotation, but maybe don't use that word necessarily. Maybe it's more like, especially with this Michael card, it's like you need to cut out anything that's just draining you. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's not selfish to use your resources to keep you warm through the winter, you know? It's so cute. I wish that I could show you like up close more, because I know that the filming that I do is not super conducive to seeing all the details of things. but it's really cute. So I really do think that your good luck is going to come from focusing your energy, using the resources that you have, knowing that you have a lot of resources at your disposal. Most of them, not even money. You know, again, resources are the people you know. It's their skill sets. It's scholarships that you could apply for. You know, you have so many resources that are available to you if only you ask. And that's your good luck charm. Thank you all so much for joining me for this reading, group ones. I am so excited to always be giving you these readings twice a month. Please support me by liking, sharing, subscribing. Please definitely share this with people who you think could benefit from these messages. The purpose of my work is really to try to empower my clients and people to also feel intuitively on their own. Like, you have your own unique intuition, and I want to help you foster that. So if you'd like to book an in-person reading with me too and get some more specific things, I am a professional astrologer, psychic, and tarot reader. If you'd like to book with me in the Denver area, I conduct readings at Confia Collective, and you can learn about how to book with me in the show notes. And if you don't live in Denver for whatever reason, it's okay. You can book with me online. Just send me a message. Check out my website, fortunethefool.com, and we can get something arranged for you. And it is, at least at the time of this recording, the end of the year of 2025. So if you are also wanting to do a year ahead reading, that is a specialty that I do, that we kind of go month by month to see what energies will be coming for you in the year ahead. Those are super awesome and useful. And I recommend that either at the beginning of the year or on a birthday. So either way, if that service appeals to you, I'd be more than happy then to share that with you. So anyway, thank you, pile number ones. We'll see you later. And without further ado, we are going to start with group number 2. You are group number 2 if you chose this Powerful People Oracle deck and this beautiful Citrine butterfly. Citrine butterfly. So, oh my gosh, and you have energy flying everywhere. Maybe a little chaos in your life right now. Also, I'm going to move that crystal, and I want to embrace this Citrine crystal instead because that's what you chose. All right, so I'm going to choose 2 different cards for you, and then we're going to, at the very end, pick a good luck charm out of the Lucky Chicken treasure chest. Okay, good luck charms that I've collected over the years. Okay, we've got 2 reversals here. We've got Angela Merkel and Enzo Ferrari. Ooh, 2 very different energies. We've got a divine feminine and a divine masculine kind of energy. Angela Merkel's card says, "A penny saved is a problem solved." A penny saved is a problem solved. No big debt goes unpunished. These are some bangers. Dang, this is powerful stuff. And the free world has a lot of overhead. Wow. Those are some powerful words. I'm very interested. So yeah, Angela Merkel, German politician. And also just being a woman in power offers a whole nother layer of, I guess, issues, for lack of a better word, but like it takes a whole nother level of confidence and power in order to embody power as a woman. So that's really interesting. So I want to talk about this. A penny saved is a problem solved. This is very interesting to me. I did feel at the forefront that this pile is a lot about your resources, your values, maybe work stuff, but just self-empowerment generally, how you can self-empower yourself through any life area of life, I should say. But this advice that's coming through, and they're both reversed. So this is both like, hey, you have this power within yourself. Agency's up to you. Your free will is on you. So you can either claim the free will or not. It's up to you. But a penny saved is a problem solved. Seems like pretty obvious that it's time for you to not spend so much money. It's less about you trying to hustle and make more money. It's about how can you make the money that you have stretch a little further. If money is less of a concern for you at this time, this also can be symbolic of your values, because what you value could be very different from what someone else values. Some people value education, so they'll spend thousands of dollars in university or something, learning whatever they want. But other people are like, hell no, I don't value that. I'm gonna go buy a race car and race for a living. They're gonna spend their resources on something else. So this is about not only you getting really clear on what your values are, but also where you're spending your money and where you're spending your time. Time is money. So if you're investing your time in, let's say, a relationship or something that is not giving you back what you deserve, if it's not reciprocal of some kind, because not every relationship is tit for tat, not every relationship is 50-50, that's fine. But this is really about, like, what are you really getting out of these relationships? What are you really getting out of this job? Is it worth the money? Is it worth what you're getting out of it? Showing up for friends is great, because, like, you never know when you're going to need support too. But this is also about being able to receive. So yeah, again, the overall message for this is it's less about how much money you're making. It's more about how you're spending it, because it can go a lot longer. You can stretch a dollar a lot more than you are right now. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you looked in your bank account and you find a subscription to something that you haven't used in years even, because it's like, oh, you haven't had your eye on your money and you were ignoring it, This is saying you need to look at your money. You need to organize your finances. You need to know what you're spending money on. Where is your money going? Because it seems like you have some expenses that could be cut out that could give you a lot of relief if you just did the work to look at where your money is going. Okay. No big debt goes unpunished. Damn. Just the weight of that. Like, I'm, especially like my personal values, I do not like debt. I if I can avoid debt, I will. I use a credit card as a debit card. I want to get the rewards, but I do not want to have to pay any interest on my debt, because that's just money out the door, and some debt is okay. I have, anyway, this is not about me. We all have some sort of debt, sometimes it's debt to a friend too. It's like, hey, I am going through a breakup. I'm going to need a lot of emotional support from you. I wouldn't say that's necessarily debt, but that does open a conversation of, okay, well, I'm here for you when you need me. I am now trusting that if I need you, that you will be there for me as well. So it's not like a debt in the sense of like you owe me. It's more of a debt of like, hey, this is how relationships work. Sometimes we're in debt to each other, but it always needs to have some sort of reciprocal energy at some point. So I'm seeing this optimistically, honestly, because I love consequences. I love them because as long as you're in line with your values and you're in line with doing things that feel good, even again, if it's the harder thing to do in the moment, you're going to be golden. You get good consequences. Life's not always fair. So, I mean, some good deeds do go punished, but overall, I definitely am at least of the mindset that as long as you're doing what's right, and if you're following your integrity and all those things, you won't go wrong. And if people wrong you, you can rest assured that they will get their consequences. And you might not see it. You might not even experience it, but as long as you trust that if someone F's you over, they're going to feel it and they're going to have the consequences of it. But remember, that extends to you as well. So if you F someone else over, you're going to get consequences and you will not like it. It will be tit for tat. If not, you will have to pay interest on whatever wrong that you've done. It's kind of funny because I woke up this morning upset about something that happened 3 years ago that I've done a lot of work on releasing and relinquishing and being like, you know what, believing this very mindset. Like, I felt very wronged by a friend of mine, an ex-friend of mine, I should say. And they didn't return property of mine that was mine, and it's sentimental property. And so it really broke my heart, and I'm like waking up thinking about it still to this day. But you know, I think the message of that dream, because there's a lot of wisdom in our dreams, I think it's about, like, for me anyway, just trusting that, you know what, I was wronged by that person, that sucks, and justice will be served. Even if I never see it, I have to just trust that things are going to work out, and if it's supposed to be in my hands, it will come back to me. But if it's not, I have to surrender to that. And that's easier said than done. I still have a lot of feelings about it. This was 3 years ago, and I'm still a little, like, raged about it, you know, not all the time, but it does come up in waves of like, I thought I already worked through that. I thought I already forgave. I thought I already XYZ, but sometimes things come up, and sometimes things also have another layer underneath them. So take that for what you will. I want to talk about Enzo Ferrari now. Again, both of these cards were reversed. So this is really about, like, using these figures. Maybe you could even look up Angela Merkel and Enzo Ferrari later and just be like, cool, what are some things or qualities about their personalities or lives that I would like to embody myself? And, you know, again, these can be complicated and divisive figures. So you don't have to take on the qualities that you don't deem appropriate, but you can definitely take on the things that make them successful in ways that align with your values. What his wisdom is that before you sell product, sell prestige. Oh, less is wanted more. And a strong engine can weather a bumpy road. Now, Enzo Ferrari, I don't know a lot about this guy, but, you know, through the art of deduction, I'm assuming he's the guy who made Ferrari, the cars, the luxury car brand. Okay. So I like what he has to say. I like the less is wanted more. And I think this is a really great energy for slowing down for you right now and really getting, just like, it's a great time to prioritize. Like, what are you prioritizing right now, especially with your time? Are you prioritizing work? Are you prioritizing self-care? Like, I know it's a really busy season for a lot of people, at least at the time of this recording. Holiday season, there's a lot of people to please. There's not only work stuff that happens, especially if you're in sales or something, but also it's the end of the year, closing fiscal things out, or having familial obligations because it's the holiday season. There's a lot that goes on in this month. So less is more. I think that's like the simplest message that's coming through with this card. Less is more, and also less is wanted more. So, like, say your family wants to hang out with you. Oh, we're in town this whole week. Like, we have plans Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Want to make sure that you can come. But if you really don't have capacity for that, it's like, okay, I appreciate you're in town, but like, I have work. I have other things going on. So just know that it's okay for you to say no. Be like, hey, I'm so glad you're in town. Thank you for being here. I would love to hang out with you Wednesday. That's when I'm off work. I'd love to hang out more, but that's what I've got. Let's make the most of it, or something. You know, some people might be disappointed, but also they're more likely to prioritize you in that hangout and really appreciate you being there rather than if you were there the whole time. It's like, then you just kind of go off in the back burner. You know, there could be more quality time to be had with less time because there's not so much. You know what I mean? So your energy is powerful. Your energy is sacred. You don't owe it to anyone really to give it to them. It's a privilege. So make sure that you are giving this privilege to the right people at the right times. Don't burn yourself out. I also like that he says, before you sell product, sell prestige. I feel like this is really just about knowing your worth. Like, before asking for your money amount or whatever, You've got to know what you're worth and like not settling for less. Because like Enzo Ferrari would not be like, oh, like I guess you don't like the car. Well, I guess like we can lower the price for you. It's like, no, this is a luxury car. If you can't afford it, buy. You know, it's like there are people out there who will buy it, and those are my customers. If you cannot afford this product, this is not for you. So that's about you feeling about yourself that way, being like, these are my prices, this is what I'm willing to do, this is what I can offer, and if you can't reciprocate, if you can't give me something of equal or more value in exchange for what I have to offer, I'm not going to waste my time on you, because you're elevating. I feel like going back to the beginning message about you breaking cycles, you've already broken the cycles, so you can't go back to the ex, you can't go back to the last job that didn't treat you well or whatever. You already broke that cycle, that it's like, no, there's no going back. You know your worth, and you have to stay strong in that. You have to own that, or else you're going to not get what you deserve. And you deserve what you deserve. You deserve more than you give yourself credit for a lot of the time. So I was talking to my friend Mia. She's like a staple of these readings at this point. But what was she saying about, shoot, now I'm forgetting. Maybe that message wasn't what was needed to share. A strong engine can weather a bumpy road, breaking cycles. I kind of like this message too, though. A strong engine can weather a bumpy road. It's also about like you having that inner fortitude of confidence. That inner fortitude of like, I have a secure foundation within myself. I trust myself. I know that I'm skilled. I know that I'm worthy. That will get you through those harder times. And like when people don't think that they see your worth or whatever, what gets you through is your self-belief and you believing in yourself. And maybe even the people who love you too, who can hype you up too. But like your challenges are making way for you to be stronger and do your reps. And so just don't think of challenges as like, oh, woe is me, I'm a victim, whatever. I mean, if you're an actual victim, I'm sorry, like that does suck, and like definitely get the help you need for that. But living in a victim mindset for longer than it's due can really wear on your self-confidence and your willpower, and it can lead to learned hopelessness, which is what we're trying to avoid here. So just know that whatever challenges you're going through, sometimes even the worst things to happen to us can end up being blessings in disguise. So if we can just shift our perspective a little bit and having more of a wealth mindset, even if we don't feel like as wealthy as we want to, that's going to be really helpful and get you through this time of change and shifting and committing to this new you rather than falling back on the old you that it might be tempting to do. And it's okay if you fall back, you know, like it's okay to take a step backwards. It happens to the best of us. Learning is not linear, like growing is not linear. Take 2 steps back, whatever. Take 4 steps forward. Take 1 step back. Take 3 steps forward. Like you're still moving forward no matter what. It's okay to take a step back once in a while. And I do think self-care is going to be really helpful. Maybe more time alone so you don't get so blinded by other people's feelings or trying to cater to other people so much. Like really have moments to be on your own and cater to yourself. That is not a selfish thing to do. It is actually helping other people by helping yourself. You have more to give if your cup's full, you know? So those are the messages of the cards. Now we get to do something very, very special. We have the Good Luck Chicken Treasure Chest. The Good Luck Chicken Treasure Chest. Within this Good Luck Treasure Chest is a message for you about your good luck. I don't think I've ever sang that before. That's funny. All right. Well, I'm going to randomly select a good luck charm for you that I have collected over the years to see what kind of good luck is coming your way. And some of these messages can be a little heavy. So the reason why I do this good luck charm chicken is to empower you to remember that there is good luck. Sometimes the harder messages are needed to make our lives better. So sometimes it's better to just know and get those harder messages rather than sugarcoat things too much. I still am kind of a sugarcoaty kind of reader. I'm not going to lie. I always just see the optimism in things. There's any light, any darkness is going to have light. There's just, that's my philosophy. And I also believe that your mind is where you live. And if you are in a pessimistic place, that's not a very fun place to live. If you can bring optimism or light into situations without being too toxically positive, I believe that's the best way to live, because it makes life tolerable and less depressing. So anyway, your good luck charm is this beautiful shell. Beautiful shell. I don't even know where this shell is from. I wish I did, but whenever I see shells, I do feel water energy. Obviously, this is the connection with the ocean or through larger bodies of water, and also the creatures that live and dwell within them. I also think of, if you know the art piece Botticelli's Venus, where she's like standing in the shell, emerging from the ocean, this goddess of beauty. It's one of the most spectacular art pieces of all time. That's kind of what I feel when I interact with shells, but especially this one. So what is the good luck in all of that? I will tell you. Good luck for you is engaging with water a lot. Take more showers maybe than usual. Wash your hands more than usual. Stay hydrated more than usual. If you already do all those pretty regularly, like keep it up. And just remember that your connection with water is connection with life as well. So the more that we're grateful for this message has been coming up a lot. So sorry if I'm repeating it, but like, water is so cleansing and purifying, and we interact with it every day. And if we don't have appreciation for these like very simple ways that we can interact with the earth, that can be very nourishing and cleansing, we miss out on opportunities. So your good luck is going to be coming from appreciating all of the gifts, all of the lovely things around you, including water, fresh running water, and anything else beautiful in your life that's natural. A good meal, a homemade good meal, like that's invaluable. That's what you should be appreciative of. That'll bring you good luck. But also knowing your beauty. Like, you're a beautiful person no matter what you look like. I mean, unless you're a terrible person. But I have a feeling if you're watching this, you're probably more aligned with me, which is really just trying our best and doing our best and wanting to help the world be a better place than when we came in. So this is really about recognizing your beauty, recognizing where you come from, which is the earth. We all come from the earth, and we're all animals at the end of the day. Like, we all are human, and we have divinity within us, but also we're here to have an earthly experience. So just remembering that anything you're going through is part of the earthly experience, and it's not always pleasant, but it's part of the earthly experience. They keep repeating that. Okay, we get it. It's part of the earthly experience. Sometimes I get nervous because I'm a channel, right? I'm saying things that spirit is wanting to communicate, but I have to say it through the lens of my life experience as well. But also sometimes I feel like spirit says things like over and over again, or like says things in a way that me personally, I wouldn't say things. So it's hard sometimes to be like, okay, spirit, like, I don't want people to be thinking that I talk like this, or that, I don't know. Cause sometimes I don't like saying harsh things either. A lot of the time I've gotten used to it. The more that I do readings, it's like, sometimes you just got to rip off that Band-Aid and just say it. But, it is hard to be the messenger sometimes. So thank you for your grace. Thank you for understanding that, like, again, take what resonates, leave the rest. Like, not everything has to be said perfectly or anything. And maybe that's the message too, is like, there's perfection in the imperfection. It might be hard to see on the video, but like, there's a lot of like deposits, maybe like calcium deposits or something on this shell that make it like three-dimensional in certain areas. It's not a perfect shell. That's essentially what I'm saying, but it looks perfect. It looks perfectly natural. because even with those calcium deposits or whatever, it looks like a shell. It gives it like reality. It gives it character. So recognize your beauty. This is your good luck. Recognize the beauty that you have within you, and that your uniqueness and your flaws actually can be a strength of yours and bring the charm of who you are. I also am thinking about like artificial beauty, which is a lot of like, I see this a lot, like a lot of artificial surgeries that a lot of celebrities are doing, or a lot of humans in general are doing. And it makes them look uncanny. It's like, I guess you're beautiful, sure, but like you look so unlike who you used to look like, or you look so artificial that it's actually jarring and it's not actually beautiful. You know, sometimes artificial beauty is not actually beautiful, you know? So you're getting so many messages. I'm like ready to wrap up, but Spirit's talking. So one other now they're giving me attitude like, oh, you want to end this? Well, then end it. Well, it's just, I feel like this is a longer reading than usual. I was not expecting this. But anyway, I guess I'll leave you with your uniqueness. Your good luck is your uniqueness is your strength. Don't hide yourself. Get in touch with nature. You are nature. And if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, try to return to source. Whether that comes in the form of hugging a tree, going in the ocean, taking a shower, like there's a lot of different ways that we can connect with nature. And escaping a little bit from the overly artificial is going to be really important. Okay. Artificiality is going to be a problem. Some artificiality is fine. You know, like sometimes you can't tell your Aunt Susan that she's being rude because that's just her personality and you just want to keep the peace. Like, that's fine. That's artificial kindness, I guess. But the things that really matter, you really need to be authentic about. That's going to bring you the truest good luck. All right, my friends. Well, thank you so much for watching this video and supporting me. Again, my name is Bren. I use they, them pronouns, and I run the Fortune of the Fool accounts, not only here, but also on Instagram at Fortune of the Fool and the website, www.fortuneofthefool.com. If you like this reading, please share with someone who you believe will benefit from this reading. I'm really trying to build a community and help people receive messages that they need to hear when they need to hear it. So you doing your part by sharing is really helpful to make sure that we can do that together as a community. If you have any questions or anything, I would love to know like what pile you chose. Please leave a comment as well. And if you're looking for more personal guidance, like a personal reading, I am a professional astrologer, tarot reader, and psychic. So if you'd like to book with me, I do in-person readings here in Denver, Colorado, that you can book with the link in the show notes, or you can book with me online. Just send me a message if you are not in the Denver area but still want a reading from me. I'm happy to accommodate you. And additionally, I do tarot meetups and astrology meetups and a lot of fun new moon things that you could really benefit from. So if you are in the Denver area, come check out my events, come support our community, come be a part of the community. We want to learn from you too. Like, this is something that I just, share with you all, but I want to learn from you all as well. And I want this to be a reciprocal two-way street. So if you have any insights that you'd like to share with me or feedback, whatever, I would love to hear that. I am sensitive, so be nice, but yeah, I'm just really grateful for you all. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a fabulous full moon. Bye, y'all. Stay foolish.